Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox.
Oh,
Cam Buckner. Oh. That's what I'm understanding from a little birdie. Mm-hmm. And apparently, I don't know what they were doing, probably doing readings from Das Kapital. I'm not really sure. But, maybe it was a farewell party for Lori Lightfoot.
Or strategizing how she's going to try and bump up her game in the next coming few weeks.
Couple weeks. She's T-minus 13 days, as Willie Wilson said in the debate last week. You got this program you're rolling out February 27th. Well, February 28th, you're going to be out of office, so what good does that do? All right, let's turn it over to Steve Moore. He's the economist that we know and love. He's also the author of Govzilla. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, guys. By the way, the whole country's kind of following this mayoral election in Chicago to see whether there's any sanity left in that city, whether it's worth. Well, we all know it's worth saving. I'm from Chicago. It's a great, great city, but it has been so run down by liberal progressive policies. And I got to tell you, I was working in New York at the time that Rudy Giuliani became mayor there. Now, no matter what people think of Rudy with respect to some of his Trump activities, I mean, I could see day by day by day, by just putting a competent person in charge of that city of New York, how the crime went away, the vandalism went away, the graffiti went away, the schools improved. Leadership matters, and Chicago can be saved. It's a question of whether the voters of Chicago, have the courage to vote for someone who will bring in some radical change, because that's what that city needs.
Yeah, I don't think that's on the menu. But
I thought one of the candidates. I haven't followed that closely, but I thought there was one really strong kind of.
Yeah, there's no really strong candidate. There's Paul Vallis, the former CPS superintendent.
Yeah, Vallis.
And there's Willie Wilson, the businessman.
Good. He is good.
Yeah, he's okay. Don't get too excited.
I'm excited about him.
You're bringing me down. I thought he would be a great. By the way, I saw it too in Washington D.C. We had terrible leadership for many, many, many years in Washington D.C. and we don't have a very good mayor right now. But we elected two black mayors in the '90s who were amazing, and they actually made the city function again. So my point is, cities can be saved. What the big story of what's happening in America today, by the way, I'm writing a big story on this for the Wall Street Journal. It's not people moving from blue states to red states. People are moving from blue cities to red states. They're moving. I mean, the big story now is the migration of blacks out of Chicago after, decades of African Americans moving from the South to Chicago and other, Midwestern and Northeastern cities. Now they're moving back.
Well, that's
moving back.
Well, that's been going on for a decade in terms of the flight from Chicago.
It's accelerating now.
That's right. No, that's right. But the problem, you want to hold out hope too. But the big cities that had dalliances with sanity when Reardon was in L.A. or Giuliani was in New York, that seems to be by the boards. We were excited about the possibility of what could happen in L.A. and then Karen Bass wins. You're excited about Eric Adams to replace de Blasio. Nothing could be worse than de Blasio, so it has to go up from there. Well, if it is going up from there, it's imperceptible. And so it's the same. It's the same thing in Chicago. I just don't think the cities are in a place now. They have gone so far down the rabbit hole. I just don't think they're in a place where you can see the sort of seismic change that you saw under those center-right mayors like Reardon or Giuliani a generation ago.
I'm not as pessimistic as you are. I mean, I think that I'm hopeful that the people of Chicago, by the way, especially the minorities, the blacks and Hispanics they're the victims of these horrible policies, right? I mean, they're the victims of the crime. They're the victims of the horrible.
We're all no. That's schools. Everybody. White, black, it doesn't matter. You can be purple, transgender. Everybody is victims of crime in Chicago. Crime is not just on the on the west and south side.
That's true. That is
everywhere.
True. But
that's the only reason it's dominating.
The people who are being murdered are predominantly black Americans.
Correct.
In Chicago.
True. Yeah, that's predominantly black on black crime. That is true.
Yeah, but it's been that way for a long time, and Chicago's had this problem for a long time. it only matters now because some of the honky neighborhoods are feeling it. It's just we haven't been able to get ourselves to push for a new paradigm, and there's nobody really pushing for a new paradigm.
Well,
nobody running right now, included.
Well, look, I thought there was a new paradigm. We have a little item in our hotline today about Evanston, Illinois, and they put in place that reparations project, and that's just working really well to atone for the sins of the past. What does it say? 25 people got $25,000 or something.
Right, and they have to pay off their mortgage with it, or make improvements to their home. So there's a stipulation that comes with the money.
Well, and we got, speaking of it, we have our illustrious Cook County Board Chairman, Tony Preckwinkle, who is now becoming a national leader in universal basic income programs. She's got a pilot program going on in Cook County that she wants to scale for essentially, about 40% of the county at billions of dollars in guaranteed money for people just for existing. So this is what's actually going on. This is where sort of the dominant disposition is. So don't get too excited. Just pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm going to give you guys some good news. Okay, you ready for some good news? At least you're not Baltimore. Did you see the results of the Baltimore educational achievement? There were 22 schools in Baltimore, 22, where not a single child, not a single student passed the math proficiency exam.
Oh my gosh, we have 50 in Chicago. We have 90 schools.
I'm talking about not one single child.
So am I.
One single child.
So am I. You think it's really? Baltimore, Chicago, New York. It's all the same story in big cities. What's happening, in my estimation, you'll look forward to your piece. All the institutions in these big cities are disintegrating before our very eyes. It's been happening for a long time. Now it's increased in pace.
Well, you know what they pay? What is the per pupil expenditure in Chicago in the public schools, roughly?
COVID,
$30,000.
Not 30.
30.
Yeah, $30,000. I don't know where that money is going. What they're using.
You can get a better education in Chicago in the Catholic schools, a much better education for less than one half of the cost.
No kidding.
Why don't we just give every student in Chicago
vouchers,
a $18,000 voucher and just let their kids go to a good school? The whole thing is so rat poison. I'm so angry about it. Baltimore is spending. I thought Baltimore was spending a lot at $22,000 per student. You're saying it's $30,000 in Chicago?
Yeah. For sure.
Just send the kids to Harvard, for goodness sakes.
Silly.
The problem is they can't read or do math, despite the $30,000 a year. That's the issue in terms of the Ivy League.
At least the teachers' unions are well paid. The teachers are well paid. So
that's the important thing. I want to get
amazing pensions too.
To another topic. This brouhaha over at the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. It's one of these sort of below the fold stories, but we talk about the administrative state, and this seems to be a great example to highlight the importance of paying attention to who these agency heads are and what they do in these agencies that have a lot of power, even though they don't get a lot of ink. And the Federal Trade Commission chairman, this woman named Lina Khan, appointed by Biden, boy, she is running roughshod over the rule of law, at least to hear Christine Wilson, who's a FTC commissioner who's now resigning, tell it that Lina Khan, it's not just that she disagrees with her philosophy on antitrust, which is basically, I don't believe in mergers, but it's also that she just is expanding the agency's mission outside of the prescribed limits set by Congress, and she's ends justify the means when it comes to due process.
Yeah, it's basically a dictatorship over there at the FTC, and you understated it. She sees every local gas station as a monopoly. She sees every local grocery store as a monopoly. So break everything up into tiny little pieces, and she hates the word profit. You see, her philosophy is if you are a businessman or woman and you are making a profit, then Dan and Amy, by definition, then you are a monopoly. Right. The only way we can get rid of these greedy businesses is to get rid of profits. And so this woman she's, I think, 29 or 30 years old. She's never worked a day in her life. She's been in academia. She's a typical Washington, inside the Beltway airhead. and she's now telling businesses, major businesses, when they can buy another company. She wants to break them up if they get too successful, because profit is a dirty word. Don't you understand that?
But why should it matter? Because this is for you big players. If she doesn't want to let Mark Zuckerberg at Meta acquire some other business, why should we care about this? Give us the implications of somebody like her at FTC.
I'll everybody say, let's go, we can't have these big companies swallowing up the small companies, because this is what leads to the innovation, invention, and entrepreneurial process in the first place. When you start, I'm on the board of 2 startup companies. You know what we want? You know why we've invested in this company? We're hoping Google will buy us out for $20, $30, $40, $50 million. You need the merger and acquisition process to get small businesses started. By the way, when a big company purchases a small company, the people who are the biggest beneficiaries are the shareholders of the smaller companies. Every study has shown that. So if you break up the merger and acquisition process, you're going to have so few new companies started in this country, which is the backbone of our country. Lena Khan doesn't get that because she's an academic who's never run. I'd love for one of these, administrators say, profit's so dirty. Why don't one of these people go out, Amy, and actually start a company and see if they can make a profit? Because it ain't so damn easy.
Right? Before we let you go, the latest in debt ceiling theater, how does that play out?
Well, same old thing. I mean, Republicans have to hold firm here. This is the battle royale of our time. Are we going to let this great country of ours go bankrupt? I'll give you one statistic that just came out. We have in our hotline the other day. You may have seen it, Dan. That in 5 years, we will be spending more money on interest on the debt than we will on our entire national defense.
Steve Moore.
Isn't that scary?
Yeah, who's going to shoot down the balloons?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I mean, we are going to have 99 Luft balloons, okay?
Yeah,
that's right.
True. Very
we're
practical.
not going to have the capacity to do it because we're going to be paying interest on the debt for all these idiot programs that we spend money on. You can't make this stuff up,
The
guys.
sky will be dotted with Tricom balloons. Steve Moore, economist, Govzilla author. Steve, thanks as always.
See you guys. Have a great day.
Thank
Bye.
you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hello?
Hey, stranger.
Oh, hi. Thank goodness it's you. I was afraid to answer the phone.
Why? What's up?
The credit card companies are after me. They want me to make payments and the calls never stop.
Ouch. Been there before, but I got help from Trinity Debt Management.
Trinity?
Yeah, I called and right away Trinity contacted my creditors and got my interest rates cut in half. They ended all the late fees and over-limit charges, and they stopped those annoying phone calls.